Dr. Zakir Naik, Christian question. Can you tell me that it is written in the Bible that Jesus was taken up alive? Zakir Naik was silent for a while. Answer. There are changes in the Bible. Let me tell you what the Bible says about Jesus. Dive deep into the mystery and try to uncover what really happened to Jesus. Jesus is without a doubt one of the most significant figures in human history. His life, teachings, and death have had a profound impact on millions of people across the globe. The story of Jesus has been passed down for centuries, and yet despite its widespread influence, there are still many questions surrounding his life and death that remain unanswered. When it comes to the historical accounts of Jesus, there's no shortage of discrepancies and challenges. The four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which are the primary sources of information about Jesus' life, often contradict each other. For instance, the Gospel of Matthew tells us that Jesus' death was accompanied by an earthquake and the resurrection of many saints, while the Gospel of Mark makes no mention of these events. Furthermore, the Gospels were written decades after Jesus' death, which raises questions about their accuracy and reliability. Scholars have also pointed out the lack of non-Christian sources corroborating the events of Jesus' life. The Roman historian Tacitus, who wrote one of the earliest non-Christian accounts of Jesus, did so in the 2nd century, long after the fact. This lack of contemporaneous evidence has led some to question whether Jesus actually existed as a historical figure. Moreover, the Apostle Paul, who is often considered one of the most important figures in the early Christian church, never actually met Jesus and only learned about him through divine revelation. The absence of concrete historical evidence has led to a plethora of theories about Jesus' life and death. Some have suggested that Jesus was a mythical figure created to represent the ideals of the early Christian community. Others have proposed that Jesus was a real historical figure, but one whose life and teachings were greatly exaggerated by his followers. The truth is, we may never know for certain what really happened to Jesus, but exploring these theories and discrepancies can lead to a deeper understanding of the historical context in which Jesus lived. Different perspectives on Jesus' death and resurrection offer unique insights into the cultural and historical context of his time. From a historical perspective, Jesus' death can be seen as a consequence of his defiance of the Roman authorities and the temple elite. From a religious perspective, his death and resurrection are seen as a sacrifice for humanity's sins and a testament to his divine nature. Cultural perspectives highlight the significance of Jesus as a symbol of resistance against oppression and injustice. The idea that Jesus was a revolutionary leader who challenged the status quo has been popularized by many scholars. This perspective suggests that Jesus' message of love and liberation was a threat to the established powers, and that he was executed as a result. Another perspective posits that Jesus was an apocalyptic leader who challenged the status quo has been popularized by many scholars. This perspective suggests that Jesus' message of love and liberation was a threat to the established powers, and that he was executed as a result. Another perspective posits that Jesus was an apocalyptic prophet who believed in the imminent end of the world. According to this view, Jesus' death and resurrection were meant to usher in a new era of salvation. The Gnostic Gospels, which were discovered in the 20th century, offer yet another perspective on Jesus' life and death. These texts portray Jesus as a spiritual teacher who imparted esoteric knowledge to his followers. They suggest that Jesus' death was not a physical event, but rather a symbolic one, in which he transcended the material world and entered the realm of the divine. So, what really happened to Jesus? One compelling theory is that Jesus was a real historical figure who was caught up in the tumultuous world of first-century Palestine. He was a charismatic leader who challenged the authority of the Roman Empire and the temple elite and was executed as a result. But what about the resurrection? One possibility is that Jesus' followers, who were deeply devoted to him, experienced a series of visions and hallucinations that they interpreted as his return from the dead. These experiences were so powerful that they convinced them to spread his message, even in the face of persecution and death. In conclusion, the story of Jesus is complex and multifaceted, and its implications are far-reaching. By exploring the many narratives and perspectives surrounding his life and death, we can gain a deeper understanding of the historical context in which he lived and the profound impact he has had on human history. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the mystery of Jesus' life and death. If you have any thoughts or theories, please share them in the comments below. And if you want to explore more videos on related themes, be sure to check out our next video.